Hi, welcome back. My name is Carson and this is my YouTube where I chat about knitting. Today I have some knitting plans slash inspirations that I would like to share with y'all. So let's just get into it. So yes, I have rounded up some knitting patterns, plans. I'm very into the fall mood right now, even though where I am it's still really hot. But yeah, so I just thought I'd share some stuff that I've been looking at on Ravelry that's really inspired me. As always, whenever I share these videos, some of these patterns I definitely want to knit. I would love to knit all of them, but let's be honest, I have minimal time or little time, and that's just not very realistic for me personally. So some of these I probably won't get around to, but I still want to share them because I've been getting inspired by them. I also have rounded up some books that I would like to read this fall that are in my possession. Again, probably won't get around to all these, but I just thought, why not share? So yeah, I'm excited. I have also shopped my stash a bit, so I can also share some yarn that I could potentially use for these projects. I've also separated it into 3 categories: garments, cowls slash shawls, and then also hats. That's the next one. Yeah, so I think I have about 10, or I think 10. I think I kept it at 10. But I will start off with garments. I actually have a swatch for this one because I'm definitely making it, which is exciting. So the first pattern I'd like to talk about. Oh wait, but first actually let me pop up my fall mood board that I made on the screen, wherever I put it. But these are just colors and photos and just vibes that I love for this time of year. So we have mushrooms, a very moody photo. I love everything about mushrooms, looking at them, foraging them. We used to forage them whenever we lived in Washington, which was so much fun. We make them in a bunch of dishes, or we put them in a bunch of dishes. Shall I say my husband does, he's the cook in our house. So yeah, I love the mushroom vibes. We have a big cabled cardigan in here with flannel and some like tan jeans, which I really like. And then we have blankets and apples and books, which is, I just love baking. I love baking this time of year. I'm not a big pie person or pumpkin person or apple person, but I just enjoy baking. So I have a little baking photo in there with some green, and then a very scrappy hat, which actually looks handmade, which is fun. And then of course perusing a bookstore, and I love the greens in this photo, the oranges, the browns, the teals, the reds, yellows, just everything. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about whenever I am kind of planning for fall, just the things I love. So, alrighty, first garment pattern I actually have a swatch for, and I'm about to start knitting, is the California sweater by Leslie Howard, or Knit California. She is a designer, Instagrammer, podcaster. I saw this actually on her podcast that she filmed talking about the release of this sweater. This is my swatch, and I saw hers and I immediately fell in love. Look at this swatch. Oh my gosh. I guess I'll talk about the yarn real quick since I have it out. These are both from Hobie. They're Easy Care Merino wool. Oh, look at this color. And the colorway is 048. But it's a very moody red. I love this color so much. And then I also have Kids Friend Silk from Hobie, which is their own yarn. Let's see if there's a color. Color 17. I think this is, I'm not even gonna say. I was gonna say what I thought the name was called online, but I don't even know, so I'm not gonna say it. But yeah, it's so pretty. These colors are my favorite colors ever. I love reds and oranges and warm tones, and this kind of merges like a, I don't even know how to describe this, like a deep brick red with a more orangey mohair, and the result is just so good. I love it. I never swatched for projects, so the fact that I swatched for this tells you how excited I am, and I just really wanted to see how the yarn paired together because they're a little bit different. The colors are a little bit different, and it kind of gives a Marley effect, and I really love it. So what about the sweater? I saw her talking about it on her podcast, fell in love, had to knit it, immediately ordered yarn. I like to shop my stash. I have plenty of yarn, but I don't have a whole lot of garment quantities of yarn, so I had to. Yeah, so I got the yarn, and as soon as it came in, it shipped so fast. They just ship so fast, and I'm pretty sure they're overseas, or maybe they have a US warehouse, I don't know. But I got this yarn in like 4 days, which I was excited about because I was stoked to cast on a swatch. And yeah, I'm gonna finish up my Cove sweater soon, and I think as soon as I finish that, I'm casting this bad boy off. But I heard her talk about it on her podcast. So this pattern is not based off of the Lento, but it's inspired by the Lento, which holds a fingering weight and lace weight mohair or suri double on a thicker needle to get a lighter, airier garment. And because of that, it doesn't use very much yardage. So the Lento is a Raglan sweater. This, however, is a drop shoulder, which I am loving drop shoulders right now. I love the fit of them. I do enjoy knitting on Raglans, but I think I like the fit of drop shoulders more on me. They feel a bit more structured, I guess because you're picking up stitches for the shoulders and stuff. But yeah, let's see the specs on this. So yeah, fingering. I believe the pattern suggests fingering and suri, but I'm using mohair. And US 10.5, 6.5 millimeter needles, which is a big needle. I was knitting the swatch, I was like, wow, this is a big needle. And then US 7, 4.5 millimeters, I'm assuming for ribbing. And whenever I cast this on, I swatched on a US 10.5 for the right side knits, and then I did a US 10 size down for my pearls. That way I don't row out. I actually did that for my Cove sweater. I just went down a needle size for the pearls while knitting flat, and this swatch looks really even to me. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing for this sweater. I just love the color. I think it'll be great. Okay, I'll stop rambling about that. I'm really, really excited for it. Next up is the Rib Lace Raglan by James and Watts. I actually started knitting this pattern in a summer yarn, and I ripped it out. I don't think I've talked about it since I ripped it out, but I didn't feel like I was gonna finish it for summer. Yeah, I was like, I don't wanna think about this. I don't want it on my needles anymore. So I just ripped it out. Maybe I'll start over again. I don't know. It was kind of a rash decision, but I'm not sad that I didn't. But I loved the pattern, had no problems with the pattern. I want to knit a long sleeve version in Knitting for Olive Merino that I've had in my stash for a long time, probably a couple years, if not 3 years. This is the colorway Powder. So it's a little bit off-white creamy color, very neutral. I actually saw Anna from Burke Willow Knits knit a long sleeve version of the Rib Lace Raglan a while ago, maybe this time last year or around the springtime. I don't really remember. Maybe I'll put a picture of it up here because I love the way that hers looks, and I kind of want to do the exact same thing. I think this color is pretty similar to what she knit hers in, and I think it'll be a great layering piece. Our falls are pretty mild here, so I think I could wear a tank top and put this over it. Yeah, I got options. So this pattern uses fingering weight yarn, US 5, 3.75 millimeter needle, and US 3, 3.25 millimeter needle. My dogs. This pattern, this garment, this stitch that the pattern has it creates an open, loose, airy fit. Whenever I looked at this pattern before and decided to cast on, I was like, oh dang, this is gonna take some brain work just because the stitch, I mean, it looks fun, but I looked and I was like, oh, this looks a little tough. It's really not. I think it was a 4-row repeat that you did over and over. It was really simple. So I think I should need to cast this on eventually and then do it. This is definitely one that I want to do. I think it has a place in my wardrobe. It's functional as a layering piece, like I said, just like a simple, airy sweater. slash top. I don't even think it's really a sweater. But yeah, so that's one that I would love to do. I'm not sure when or if I'll cast that on. Probably after my California sweater. I kind of want to work on one sweater at a time. I'm not very good at working on multiple big things at one time. We'll see. Next up, this is one I've been looking at over the past week or two, just constantly staring at it, drooling, gazing, lovingly. And I would love to cast this on. I'm not sure if I have enough yarn though. But I've been looking at the Market Henley by Claire Jackson or Perfectly Knotted on Instagram. This, it looks like a waffle stitch Henley. I love Henleys. I love the look of Henleys. Just the little buttons on the top just feel so elevated. I'm not sure what the functionality of a Henley is, but I love them. They look fun. I really love the way the stitch looks. So yes, I will show you. This pattern uses fingering weight yarn, US 4 3.5mm needles, and US 5 3.75mm needles. And I'll show you what yarn I'm thinking about. So again, I've had this in my stash for about the same length as the other Knitting for Olive. This is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. And I think the color is ochre. Oh wait, it says it. Dark ochre, excuse me. And it's a golden orange. Oh, this is one of my favorite colors. It's like Carhartt orange. I'm so surprised it's taken me this long to use it. I think it's because I have kind of an odd amount. I have 4 balls, which I think is a bit of a stretch to make a long sleeve sweater. And I think I have more than needed though for a tank top. So I've been going back and forth over the years about whether I want to knit a tank top or a t-shirt. But I really like this top, this long sleeve Market Henley. So I'm not sure if I have enough. I think I have slightly less than what's recommended. So I don't know, I'm thinking about it. If I could find the same dye lot, same color, maybe I would purchase 1 or 2 more skeins to make this, or skeins or balls, whatever, to make this. But I am unsure. I think I have enough. Like I have enough projects right now that I'm happy, you know, and I just bought yarn, so I don't know. I'll think about it. And decide, but the pattern is so pretty. I think it's a great staple piece. I would wear this all the time. This is a neutral color for me, in my opinion, in my color dictionary, but this pattern just looks so pretty, and I love looking through the projects. I was gonna say I think this was a recent release, but that might be incorrect. I'm not totally sure. When this pattern was released, I came upon it a couple weeks ago on Ravelry, just browsing, and I love it. It's so pretty, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe I get 1 or 2 more, because I think if I made this pattern, I would want to make it a bit oversized, maybe 1 or 2 sizes up from what's recommended. I don't know, just a thought. Alrighty, last garment. Definitely taken straight out of my mood board. This is the Book Club Cardigan by Sari Nordlund. Love her designs. I've knit one of her sweaters, one of her hats. She just makes some really cool designs. And this looks very similar to that cardigan in my mood board. It just has cables everywhere. It has pockets. Kind of looks like a grandpa cardigan, which I love. It uses worsted weight yarn, US 6 4mm needles, and US 2.5 3mm needles. This is one that I am loving. I'm very inspired by, but I don't think at this point in my life I want to use the brain power to knit it. I have never knit. That's not true. I've knit a cabled hat one time. It was bulky weight, very minimal cables. I enjoyed it. There was a lot of steps with the cable needles, but right now with a toddler, I have a 2-year-old son, not 2 yet, almost 2 in a few months. I don't know if I want to use the brain power to knit this, and maybe it's not as hard as I'm thinking it will be. It just looks very intricate, which is what makes it beautiful. I mean, if I did knit this, I would cherish it forever. It's kind of a dream knit. Yeah, I could imagine this in a dark brown color. Yeah, just dreaming. This is one of those I'm just dreaming. I don't really have plans to knit it right now unless I just get crazy cast on energy and I don't know, buy some yarn late one night and do it. But yeah, I'll admire the pattern for now and other people's. I've been seeing a lot of people knit this up on Instagram and on Ravelry. I love looking through the projects, of course, so yeah, this is one that I think I would really like the end product. I'm not sure if I would like knitting on cables. I don't know. But it's a really pretty pattern. Alright, so now we're gonna move on to shawls / cows. I have never knit a shawl and I've never knit a cowl, and I've been saying for a year or two that I've been wanting to knit one. And I think this is the year to do it. Why not? Why not try it? I have no idea if I'll wear it. I think that's why I'm a bit hesitant to cast one on, because I'm like, I don't know if I'll wear it. I don't wear store-bought scarves or cowls or shawls right now, so I don't know. I was kind of like, why would I? You know? But there's always that time of year where it gets really cold. It's cold in the house, it's cold outside, and I think, why didn't I knit something to go around my neck? And the same thing for my hands. I'm like, why haven't I knit gloves? So keeping that in mind, I would like a cowl that I could bundle up in if we're outside or at a pumpkin patch, given it's probably gonna be really hot. Even, it's still probably gonna be pretty hot now. Maybe this is more of a winter thing, but I would like to knit it in the fall to have for the winter. And I mean, who knows, there could be a chilly day and I could need it. But yeah, anyway, let's just get into the patterns. I think this is the year I'm gonna knit a shawl or a cowl. So first one, the Mushroom Cowl by Lotta H. And I have no idea how to pronounce her last name, but such a pretty cowl. I am drawn to this one because of the stitch and because of the two colors. I don't know if this is mosaic knitting or stranded colorwork. I don't know, not sure. But I really like the final product and I love the way it twists. I think if I knit a cowl, I do want one that twists without knitting a long version and twisting it myself. I just want it to twist, to have one layer of, I want it to have one circle with a twist in the middle, which I've seen a few cowls have that. Some of Andrea Mallory's cowls have that. I found some free ones that also have it, so I kind of already know the technique if I just wanted to cast something on and try it myself. But I really do like the stitch pattern for this one. So it uses DK weight yarn, US 7 4.5 millimeter needles, and I actually have some yarn that looks similar to the, what am I trying to say? Similar to the sample photo. I have this yarn that I thought could be a good match together. So I recently showed this yarn in a podcast, but this is Barocco Ultra Wool DK. It's 100% superwash wool. I've used this for a couple projects. I have a little less than a skein because I used it for a baby bonnet, but I used such little yarn for that. So I'm not totally sure how much I have. I need to weigh it, do some math. And then I also have this, which was a gift from the yarn dyer herself from Night Bright Yarn Co. It's Bright DK, 100% superwash merino, DK 231 yards in the colorway Seashells. So she gifted me this past year, which was so kind of her. Thank you so much. And I have 2 skeins of this, which is very generous of her. And it's this really pretty pinky, almost purpley mauve-y with some navy in the middle. And I never really knit with anything like this before, so I think this would be fun. And I think paired together, this would make a really pretty fall. Because I do consider pinks and mauves to be a fall color too. I mean, personally. So yeah, I think this could be a really fun match for this pattern. I'm not totally sure if I'm going to knit this pattern. I have a few different cowls and shawls in here because I cannot decide. So I'll go on and I'll tell you the rest. So here's a free pattern. It is called The Simple Thing by Melina Brell. It honestly reminds me a lot of the Sophie shawl or scarf. I really like the garter stitch and I like that it's free. Yeah, it looks pretty simple. It looks like a mindless knit, which I like. It uses DK weight yarn, US 7, 4.5 millimeters, and it uses 219 to 273 yards. So this is another one because I have 2 of these. I'm kind of thinking maybe I should use these to knit that little shawl. It's not a cowl, it's a shawl that you wrap around. Because I have 231 yards and I couldn't probably alter the pattern to make it bigger if I wanted to. So yeah, I really want to use this soon. I've been staring at it for a long time. But yeah, I've looked at projects in this Ravelry pattern, projects people have done, and they've left notes, and some people have done different increase and decrease rates to make it have a different shape. So I've been looking at those because I've never knit, like I said, never knit a shawl before. Maybe if you've knit shawls in the past, it's kind of, maybe you know kind of what to do to shape your shawl, but I don't. So I've been looking at other people's projects and taking note of the rate of increases and decreases they do and what theirs looks like. So I've really been studying this pattern and I really do like it. I also have this yarn that I think could be put together. So it's fingering weight yarn and oh man, I don't have the labels for this anymore. I have no idea what this is. I'm afraid to say what I think it is because it'll probably be wrong. But it is fingering weight yarn, I know that for a fact. It is single plied, I guess. It almost looks unplied. I don't know, that's not gonna focus. Yeah, it's not really twisted very well. It looks almost like roving yarn. But I think it's single ply. It's 100% superwash merino. I know that for a fact. So I'm thinking I could put these together. I knit my Kutar beret out of this yarn, and unfortunately it does not fit my head. I think my gauge was off. Didn't gauge swatch, my bad. And it's just too tight for my head. It doesn't really shape like it's supposed to, so I'm definitely gonna rip that back. And so I'll have 2 skeins of this, which I think is a little over 400 yards, so I could also knit a shawl or cowl in this. And it is tonal, so I think it could look really pretty in that shawl. Again, who knows? Alrighty, next up we have another free pattern that I found. This is the Meadow Scarf by Annabel Williams. This is a cabled, I think this is called a shawlette. It's not a massive shawl, almost like the Simple Thing pattern I just showed, kind of in between a bandana and a shawl. If I knit cables soon, I think I want to start off with a small project like this just to get into it because it's been a long time since I knit that hat. But this looks like a fun, simple, maybe, I mean, I know there's cables, but looks fun and it's really cute. I like the way this looks. I like how small it is. It feels like you could just wrap around once. I think this is another problem why I've never knit one of these before is because I don't really know how to wear it. But I've been watching videos and podcasts about people who've been knitting shawls, and I like it whenever people tie them and kind of tuck the ends in so you don't see the ends and it just kind of looks like a wrap almost. It uses DK weight yarn, US 4, 3.5 millimeter needle, 252 to 268 yards. Yeah, and like I said, it's free and it just looks really pretty and nice. I don't know if I have yarn that I would want to knit this in, unless I use the yarn I just showed. Ooh, or if I don't use the mushroom cowl, I could just use this, which would be a very neutral oatmeal type color. We'll see. That's the theme of this video. We'll see. Alrighty, last one that I would like to share today is, last cowl slash shawl pattern I would like to share today is another free one that I found. It's in a twist cowl by Purl, Soho. I like this one for a few different reasons. It uses worsted weight yarn, US 8, 5mm needles, and I looked at how this pattern is designed and it seems pretty simple. So from what I've gathered, you cast on X amount of stitches, and then to make that twist, because this is a cowl that twists as well, you intentionally twist your stitches just once, and you just keep knitting, and so your project twists in the middle. It just looks really simple. I like the duality. It uses 2 colors. You don't have to, but it would be fun. I don't know if I have any worsted weight yarn that I would want to knit this in. Actually, I'm gonna have some scraps. I think I'm gonna have 1 ball left after I finish my cove left over, and then I could probably find some other worsted weight yarn leftovers in my stash probably. I think I have brown. Yeah, I don't know. I could do it. But it just looks really simple, like a mindless project. Once you set it up, you're good to go. You just knit. It's garter stitch in the round, so it's knit and purl rather than just knit on the knit flat. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's some purling involved. That's okay. I don't mind purling so much. Yeah, there are a few, not many projects in this one, but a few, and they all use different colors. And so it's really fun just to go and look and see what everyone else has done for some other inspiration. Alrighty. Last category we have hats. Because again, like I was talking about with shawls and gloves, I feel like there's always a point in the season where I'm like, oh, why didn't I knit a hat? And I need it now, and it takes a while to knit. So I do have a few hats that I've knit in the past that I do enjoy wearing, but I want some variety, So my first one is called the Flowerknot Beanie by Morats. Again, cables. Maybe? I will be knitting cables this season. It looks so pretty. I love the cable pattern in this. It looks different from any other cable I've seen recently. It looks a bit more dainty to me, or feminine, I guess. I guess it's because it kind of looks like a flower. But I love the sample. It's knit in just straight up white. It uses fingering and lace to make DK, or you could just use one strand of DK, which is probably what I would do. And it uses US 4 3.5mm needles. So I think if I knit this, I might want to knit it in either this one, which would be so pretty, and it could also be a spring hat too, because this is like pink and mauve, or this to be more of a neutral. Because I think I have enough. I need to weigh it and see. I would hate to start something and then not have enough. But, so yeah, I gotta use this. So yes, that is another beanie. And then in a similar vein, I have one more beanie that I've been looking at, which was inspired by Hannah from Pages and Pearls. I just watched her podcast where she showed off some of her fall plans, and this was in her fall plans inspirations video. It is called the Weekend Hat by Plain Needleworks. So this is also a cabled beanie. Wow. Yeah, I have to knit some cables. I've been inspired by cables, I guess, which I know it was in my mood board. Yeah, surprise, surprise. I guess I'm knitting cables. It uses DK weight yarn and US 6 4mm needles and US 4 3.5mm needles, and it uses 170 to 208 yards. So definitely have enough for this hat. And some DK weight yarn. And it just looks like a very simple one type of cable beanie. And let's see, I actually have another DK weight yarn gifted from my sweet friend Alex from the Serenity Knitting Society. She's a YouTuber, podcaster. She's so sweet. She gifted me this whenever Wilder was born, which, again, so sweet. Thank you, Alex. And I've just been staring at it because it just feels too special, So this is by Knit or Die, and it's from Australia. She's from Australia. She's the Australian queen. She gifted me some yarn from Australia. She also gifted me a hat that she made Wilder, which was so nice of her. It is in the colorway Cirrus Sky. DK weight. It's 60% wool, 20% alpaca, 5% silk, and 15% nips, because it's a tweedy yarn. And I've never knit tweed before, like a tweedy yarn, so it has some speckles in there. Or not speckles, but little tweedy bits. And it's gray, and it's neutral, and it's perfect. So I also need to knit a hat in this, because I think I have enough to knit either one of those hats I talked about. I kind of get on the hat knitting, wow. But yeah, it feels so soft. It's non-superwash, so it feels very woolly, but also soft, and I need to use this. I needed to use it a long time ago, and I've just been holding off, but yes, we will see. This definitely needs to become a cable beanie. I think this would be really pretty in cables because of the wool contents and non-superwash. Yeah, I think it'd have some great stitch definition. So y'all, that is it, but I will talk about some books that I would like to read. These are books that I have in my own personal library. So definitely have some that I want to check out from my local library as well, but I didn't really research that. I don't have a whole queue of books that I want to read. I don't list them out like a lot of people do. It's more of a in the moment, I guess, sort of thing. I love just going to the library and just looking at what they have. And of course, if I see something I recognize or I've been wanting to read for a while, I'll just grab it. So, but for now, I'll talk about books I have in my library. First off, we have Aragon by Christopher, I can't say his last name, Beanie, I think. This, you can see it's worn. This has been well loved by me. I read this book when I was in middle school. Oh no, I was in elementary school. This book is vintage. Yeah, I read this book in elementary school, like 3rd or 4th grade. And this book has been at my parents' house. I have the next 2 books as well. And I kind of teetered off after Inheritance, I think. And he just came out with Murtaugh. It's been so long since I've read this. So I want to reread all of them and then read the book he just came out with. So yeah, Aragon. It's about dragon riders. Fun fact, we canceled our Netflix and we got a DVD player, which was so cheap. And we have been watching DVDs at night. We went through my parents' stash, which they said we could go through from the movies we had whenever we were little, and I found my copy of Aragon. So I actually introduced Wilder, my son, which he had no idea what was going on. He didn't watch it that much, he was playing with toys, to Aragon the movie, which was okay. I remember it being way better as a kid, I think, because I loved this book so much. And now as an adult, I'm just kind of like, it's not that great. But it's fun to watch, it's nostalgic. So yeah, I need to do a reread and rewatch again of Aragon. So I definitely want to reread the series. Next up, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte? I actually don't know. This is a classic. It is in a lot of books that I have enjoyed reading. It's referenced in a lot of books that I have read in the past. It's referenced in Twilight, which is funny. I actually did a reread of Twilight when I lived in Washington, because we went to Forks I used to do photography, so I went there for a photo shoot. And so it was funny, I reread them while I was there. And yeah, it's been referenced in some books that I've read. It was referenced in a book I read or listened to recently too. Oh, We Were Liars. It was referenced in that one. So yeah, I want to read it. I started reading it a while ago, but I think Wilder was just born. And my brain could not. It's just a different style of reading. Like the classics, you really, I feel like, have to hone in. Just the style of writing is different. So yes, I want to read this. We'll see. Okay, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I always forget an R in there. I also read this one in middle school or elementary school, actually. I was a big reader in school, and I'm a big reader now. But yeah, in school, I was reading books in the lunchroom, just even out in public, you know? Oh, I miss those days of being a kid, like having, little responsibilities and just bringing a book with me everywhere. But alas, here we are. But yeah, so I want to reread this. It's been a long time since I've read this. And I feel like I was so young, I didn't really understand it, So I need to go back and reread it. Because I mentioned this in a podcast, I've been watching Rings of Power, which I've really been enjoying. And then I've also been going back and rewatching Lord of the Rings, the movies. I used to love those movies as a kid. But fun fact, not fun fact, just fact, that was a comfort movie for me, so I would watch it and kind of just in the background. And I guess as a kid, I also didn't pick up on things in that movie. And I rewatched it and really rewatched it the other night. And this whole time, I thought Sauron was the white wizard, and not the white wizard, but the wizard, the other wizard besides Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and his name is Saruman. I thought he was Sauron. So it's just so funny to me that I'm picking up on this stuff now. as an adult. I was like, wait, I got this all wrong. And I had never paid attention to the prequel of in Fellowship of the Ring. Like the first 5-10 minutes is a prequel and it explains everything that happens in Rings of Power. So I was watching that. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, like I'm seeing these characters that I really like in Rings of Power and they're like dead and dying in this prequel. And I'm like, anyways, I'll stop talking. I'm rambling now, but I just thought that was funny. I was like, wow, I did not pay attention as a kid. Okay, next one is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. I also started this one right after Wilder was born. I got 50 pages in and it was good. I just stopped reading it, but I don't want to not read it. I want to come back in, fresh mind. It is definitely dark academia vibes. If I remember correctly, it's at a theater school or an art school. And it was good. It has like a whole ensemble of characters. Pretty sure there's a murder involved. Yeah, I think the synopsis says there's a murder. I hadn't gotten to the murder though. So yeah, it's just very dark, moody, and I want to try again. Because there was nothing, like I liked the writing, I just think there was a lot going on with a small child. Next up, I have Divine Rivals. My parents got me some books last year for Christmas, which was so nice of them, and this is one that I picked out. And I haven't read it yet, which is kind of surprising. My friends have read this, or a few of my friends have, and there's mixed reviews. One friend, my sister-in-law, didn't love it so much. My other friend said it was the cutest thing ever, like it was a cute story, so I don't know. I don't have much expectations for this book, but I do want to read it. And I think there's a duology. I only have the first one, so I don't know. I'll read it and decide if I want to read the second, but this is a fantasy book, and it's young adult. So those are all my books. Like I said, I'll definitely probably pick up some from the library. I'm still reading Dance of Thieves. I just haven't picked it back up. I need to. I'm in a reading slump right now, but fall is the season of reading and being cozy and knitting, so I need to start again. But yeah, y'all, that's all I have. Thank you for sticking around. Let me know what y'all are knitting on this fall. If you have any plans, dreams, if you've been inspired by anything, let me know. And yeah, I guess I'll see y'all next time.